When Mahesh came up with the script, I was like, dude, this story needs to be told. I always felt the most for those kind of emotions. And that's what I think Andhra King Taluka also has. More than the fan emotion, I think it's more of a human emotion. I recently happened to watch Bahubali, both the parts. A lot of people will say, Rajamouli is known for, all these big things. But I think the kind of writing that went into Bahubali, I think he's one of the best. One interesting thing that I've realized for every actor is they have to act normal first and then to be able to act.
When did you first realize that you had fans?
So it reached a point where a lot of people started coming and they started getting offended. They're trying to give you love and it's like you're rejecting their love. So that's when I realized that no, this is something that I need to accept. And we see fans everywhere and we find them very silly and it doesn't make sense to us. Whatever they do does not make sense to us. But you can't have so many people do things that doesn't make sense. It's the first time Mahesh and I wanted to get a poster, like a cutout of a superstar and then a small kid standing. AI just picked them up. So the AI poster, it was Mr. Upendra. So it just happened to be like that.
Your last really big hit was Isma Shankar.
Yeah.
Do you even feel some kind of pressure before?
See, the most difficult things are the simplest things to follow.
No compromise. Unga side liyo, enga side liyo. It's a GT promise.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Darling Solar 20500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம்.
மலிவான நாட்டு சர்க்கரையில தான் மண் தூசி இருக்கும். இது குலாஸ் நாட்டு சர்க்கரை 100% சுத்தமானது.
Hello Ram, welcome to Kalata Plus.
Hi.
Very nice to meet you. This is the first time I've been interviewing a lot of people many years. The first time somebody's come to me like they're standing before HR. This black trousers, almost like an off-white kind of shirt.
Yeah.
What is this dress?
I don't know, it all depends on my mood that day. So I don't have anything
You just
planned.
felt, I want to be formal today.
Yeah.
I want to look formal today.
Yeah,
Black
just the
shoes.
mood. Just the mood, yeah.
Yeah, because when you go to actors typically, they get designer clothes. They wear, stuff that's colorful, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
And this is like something different.
If my designer Ashwin is watching, he's been sending me a lot of clothes and I've approved a lot of clothes for the interviews, but he's used to it by now. So I end up wearing something whatever I feel that day.
I've-
So
this
this is
is
nothing that he thought of.
So your designer, when he sends you clothes, he's like, half the time he knows you're going to reject them.
It depends on my mood again. He kind of knows me. He worked with me for quite a few films. And he also knows that by the end of the day, whatever I feel like wearing, I just wear often.
Okay. So how important is mood for an actor?
This mood I'm talking about has got nothing to do with the mood in the film. So one interesting thing that I've realized for every actor is they have to act normal first and then to be able to act. Like whatever mood you're in, your personal mood, everything, you have that disclaimer before a pilot is entering a cockpit, leave everything outside and then enter, people's lives are at stake. So no matter what mood we are in, we have to first act normal. So we'll be able to act whatever the scene requires or whatever. So
Right.
That way, this mood has got nothing to do with that, but it's interviews. There was one interview where I just felt like wearing shorts and I wore shorts and a lot of people spoke about it also. It happened here.
Wow. Now we are here for Andhra King
Yeah.
Taluka, and it's a movie about fandom.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that you had fans?
It took me quite some time. So my thing has always been... my first film was a blockbuster. And then even though my second
You're
film...
talking about Devdasu?
Devdasu, yes.
Okay.
And even though my second film didn't do that well, Jagadam, it's still called as a cult classic here and all of that. And my third film, Ready, was a blockbuster. Fourth film was a super hit. But most of my fans came from Jagadam. So initially when they came, after my first film, I had a bunch of guys, drive down from really long places. And they were like, we want to start a fan club and all of that. I was like, hey,
This is Devdasu.
this is Devdasu.
Okay.
I was like a 16-year-old kid. I was like, hey, fans, wait, no, and all of that. I was very conscious about it. I was very shy. And to the point, it reached a point where a lot of people started coming and they started getting offended. They're trying to give you love and it's like you're rejecting their love. So that's when I realized that, no, this is something that I need to accept. And it took me a while initially because I was a kid. But now I think it's one of the biggest blessings for any actor.
Could it also be because you're a self-proclaimed introvert?
I wouldn't call myself an introvert, but I don't get into. If we're discussing an interesting topic, I would go on and on and on. But I'm very bad at small talk, so I get very uncomfortable at parties. I don't know what to talk to people about. You know what I mean?
Because I saw an interview where you said you like to spend a lot of time with yourself,
Yeah.
and you know, anytime you're somewhere, the first thing is like, when can I be alone and when can I get away from all this? So I kind of figured that, you know, I don't think there's a clean block between an extrovert and an introvert, but then this is a borderlining on.
No, I
introvert.
enjoy my company a lot. Like, I love traveling. I can go sit in a park all day, all by myself, not do anything, and I really enjoy that. But again, it all depends on the topic and what kind of a vibe I'm getting from the other person. I'm very bad at small talk, so that's all.
Okay.
Keep it short. Yeah.
Right. So if I asked you to, if we just chatted instead of talking about Andhra King Taluka, that would not be an ideal situation for you.
I don't know. Maybe something else if it's interesting. Maybe I would talk, but it took me a while to be okay with awkward silence. It's like, it's okay. You don't have to talk. You can just sit here.
But I don't think the audience is going to like it.
Yeah,
the
they
people
won't.
watching
For the interviews,
this,
no.
Yeah.
Here I'm with a mission. I'm a man on a mission.
You're a
to
man on a
promote myself,
mission.
so.
Right. So, okay, let's just deviate. What was a film that you've been a fan of recently?
I wouldn't say a fan of, but I recently happened to watch Bahubali, both the parts. After
Oh,
a long
the
time.
combined one, the
combined
epic?
one. Yeah, yeah. The 3 hour 40-minute one. I was quite fascinated with both the parts when I watched it initially, and I was equally fascinated with the way he was able to combine both and get the same feeling out of it. You know what I mean? I think he's such a passionate filmmaker, and you know, a lot of people say Rajamouli is known for all these big things, but I think the kind of writing that went into Bahubali, like after a long time, I watched the entire bit because initially it was meant to be one film. I think he's one of the best. I don't know if he writes his own films. I think his dad does a lot of the work. But what he gets from everyone and the writing and the character design, all of that, I think that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think even in RRR, you know, the people talk about the big set pieces, but the emotions,
the emotions.
are
he
kind
just
of,
knows how to.
He knows what to do. That really works. That kind of. What do you think of the Varanasi teaser?
I loved it.
Okay.
And I also have a very soft corner and a respect for Mr. Rajamouli, more so because we all need to realize that one person's effort and one person's step forward is taking us all forward. So initially it was just Telugu cinema. Every step he took Telugu cinema to the next level. Now he's taking Indian cinema to the next level. Today, one of the main reasons for pan-Indian films to become so common is also because of Mr. Rajamouli.
I think not one of I think he is the...
Yeah. He's put in that effort, his commitment, all that hard work he's put into expanding, removing the boundaries and all of that.
Yeah.
We're all enjoying those benefits.
Yeah.
So I have a soft corner for him. So I eventually end up liking most of the things.
Yeah, I think what intrigued me was the fact that it's not just a globetrotter, but also a time trotter.
Yeah.
I think that I'm very curious to see what that is.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll come back to what you're doing here. Now, you put out a tweet recently saying that I'm not a very emotional person usually, but this thing that fans have done, thank you so much and all that kind of stuff. So just take me through that journey of, you're not an emotional person at all.
I don't get emotional that easily.
Okay.
So I'm a very practical guy and all of that.
Right. So like at home and stuff like that, you're not very...
No, I live by myself.
Okay.
So just me and my dog. And
if you live with your dog,
Yeah.
you're really an emotional guy. You're going to be like doing stuff with the dog all day. Like because I know dog people.
No, if you call a dog an introvert, my dog's probably an introvert.
Really?
You wouldn't care about anything.
Seriously?
Like, you would come back home and you think your dog will run and all of that. You're like, oh, you're back, cool. You want me to come? Sure, I'll come sit. That kind of a thing. So we're pretty chill that way. He does his own thing. But I'm not that emotional, but few things hit you, when it comes to human emotions, that's always... I always felt the most for those kind of emotions. And that's what I think Andhra King Taluka also has. More than the fan emotion, I think it's more of a human emotion. It's not just about a fan and a superstar, but their relationship. Like, what is that strong bond and what is the connection that they have that is so strong, even though they don't meet, they know they'll never meet. And also, I think there's the highest form of unconditional love.
Yeah.
Where you're doing something for a person wherein you know for a fact that person will never know you existed or did something for them. And still you'd want to do it.
Yeah.
What is a love beyond that? it's beyond family, beyond friends. That is the kind of love that they're showing. So we wanted to explore what that relationship is.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's a very human emotion kind of a film using a fan and a superstar.
Yeah.
So it's not just for fans to connect. Fans will get very emotional, but anyone who's watching it at a human level, they would connect. So this film is a little emotional for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what made you emotional about
The fans,
Yeah.
because I've been in this zone also for quite some time. Not only this, so this is the kind of film where there's this thought, whatever I'm talking about, there's this thought that's constantly been there. Like if you observe in a lot of my pre-release events, one of the pre-release events also I've mentioned that our family loves us because we were born within them.
Yeah.
Our friends love us because we grew up with them. Fans love us and we have no idea why, they just love us.
Yeah.
That's a question that I think in 2017 or something I said in some event. I've constantly been pretty vocal about it. And so when Mahesh came up with the script, I was like, dude, this story needs to be told. First he said, it was out of an obligation that I had to listen to it. When they said, sir, one fan story, I was like, okay, fan story. And me and Maitri Ravi Garu, Naveen Garu, we've been wanting to do a film for the past 6-7 years. Chalo, obligation, man. I was very reluctant initially. So I said, just tell me the idea in 20 minutes. No. But after the 10th minute, I was like, stop. There's something on this. How long would you take? And he said, 2.5 hours. I said, narrate it. And he narrated a 3-hour version. But I found it so emotional, and I was like, this is the thought that's been in my mind for quite some time. And we see fans everywhere, and we find them very silly and it doesn't make sense to us. Whatever they do does not make sense to us. But you can't have so many people do things that doesn't make sense. It does make sense to them, and why.
Yeah.
That is the human element that we touched.
Can you talk about that, or is it
100%.
in the film?
No, we can talk about that.
No. So what is this human element? Why do you think a fan does exactly what it is? Because I've wondered about it sometimes.
Oh,
because
like that.
See, I'm also a fan of certain actors, certain filmmakers, certain bodies of work rather.
Okay.
But I am a fan because of a body of work rather than the person themselves. Like if I'm not a big fan of people.
Yeah.
I'm more a fan of the work that they do. Whereas a lot of the times fans, they crowd outside people's houses. Like every time I go to Bombay, and because I say I'm coming from Chennai, like that the taxi drivers will make it a point to, this is Shah Rukh's house, this is Salman's house, this is somebody's house, that is, like I'm like, okay, that's his house. And like, why do I even, like, what is that? It's just somebody where somebody lives. But there are people who stand outside and take pictures outside the house saying, I was standing outside Shah Rukh's house. That I've never quite understood. And I'm not saying that, but that exists.
Yes.
And have you figured out what that reason is? What is that?
If you watch this
What
film,
is the emotion rather?
Yeah. If you watch this film, you'll probably kind of realize that in the climax with the dialogues he says. And we've addressed exactly that.
Okay.
So until now we see it and it doesn't make sense to us. Even like, for example, let's say I broke up with my girlfriend and my friends know about it and we're madly in love and all of that. And I'm ruining my life.
Is it a true story or
just hypothetical.
Okay. I'm just like,
hypothetical.
Am I getting a confession here?
No.
It's like, yeah, okay.
Let's just say,
okay,
some guy, he broke up with his girlfriend and all of that.
No, he's getting it's okay. that sounds better. So.
Better TRP, okay. So, but the friends, the first thing they say is, she's just a girl. Why would you want to do all of that? It doesn't make sense to the other person, even though he's your friend. He's not feeling what you're feeling. It's a very personal connect.
See, I'll tell you where I disagree with that. See, when you break up with a partner, or you can even be a breakup with a friend or whatever it is, there's a personal connect.
Yeah.
So you feel for that, right? We're still talking about one person not even knowing that the other person exists. That's the difference, right?
So both the points you've mentioned together is this film. What is that personal connect?
Okay. Who are you a fan of?
Said I've always admired Jim Carrey a lot, and because I was raised in Chennai, Mr. Rajinikanth again. Yeah.
Okay.
So not like a fan, but yeah, if I had to pick some names, it would be that.
Yeah. What is it? Not a fan? What does that mean? What is the difference between a fan and a fan?
Like I said, there are fanism also has like it has a spectrum. Like you're a fan of the body of the work that actor did, but you're not the kind of person who would stand outside their house and just that glimpse would change your day.
That's me.
That is you.
Yeah.
So you're probably here in the spectrum, but then it goes deeper. The kind of impact they created in your life, that changes. I've had people who said that they were in depression. He was a writer on one of my films, and the first time I met him, he was just staring at me and all of that. I was like, are you okay? Like anything? Like, are you feeling conscious? And all that. He's like, no, no. And after we kind of bonded and all of that, after a couple of weeks, he came and told me that the first time I saw you, I was awestruck. I was like, why? What did I do?
The first time he saw you.
He saw me. He was awestruck. I was like, why? He's like, I had a very serious breakup and I was going through a depression and all of that. And my friends were really worried about me. That's why I gave you that example also, because it was real life. And that song in your film, those expressions, I could connect with you. And for 3 months, I was only listening to that song, only watching that song, and that really helped me get out of it. If not for that, I don't know. I'm like, dude, I don't like write the lyrics. I don't do anything. I have no idea about it. Like, what is this? I'm like, yeah, I know all of that because I'm also from the industry, but if not for you, I don't know. If not for that song, I don't know. There is a personal connect. Maybe that you didn't go through anything like that, but there are people who go through that in different levels, multiple points of that spectrum.
Sure.
So
No, that for me has happened even with actors or directors of films that I may not be a fan of the film, but there may be a song that I keep going back to because it takes me back to a mental state, or if I want to relax, I might, there are songs that I go to, but maybe the films I don't even like, or the star I don't like, or whatever it is. So I'm a fan of the song, I guess. So I can be a fan of a song. I can be a fan of the choreography of a song. I can be a fan of like when I see Chikri, like I know there's a lot of controversy around the song, and I'm not getting into that. But as a pure what Ramcharan does in that thing, and Rahman's music, that combination of the two, it just gives me a high when I see it. It's just like I don't know if I'll have the same high 2 years down the road or whatever. But right now, it's working, and I'm a fan of it. It's that's a different thing.
This is a completely different way of putting it, but let's just imagine, like, this film has changed the way I saw a lot of things. Like, how important are cinema theaters to the society?
Yeah.
Like, cinema theater is one of the only places where, let's say we're talking right now, I have my guards up, you have your guards up, every person has their guards up. Somewhere, even with our parents, even with our closest of friends, maybe with your wife, maybe with the girl, the love of your life, you always have some guard up. Imagine going to a place, removing all your guards, and wanting to feel emotions. Like, there are no guards. You make you laugh, you laugh. You make them cry, you cry. You want to put your guards down and just watch it. You're at your most vulnerable space in a cinema theater, wanting to feel all emotions. And then there's this person who's trying to inspire you. There's this person who's trying to affect your life. The kind of connect is different. And you're in that world. So a cinema theater is the only place in the world which makes you feel the most vulnerable, where you're like ready. You're paying to feel, paying to get inspired, paying to like put your guards down and want to feel stuff, get impacted in that way. So no matter what I say outside right now may not impact you that much, but in that space, oh my God, you're there.
I guess it is, because there's a heightened level of emotion happening, and if that combines with a star that you really like or an actor that you really like, that alchemy is very different from
extreme. That's where you get the personal connect.
Yeah.
It's like that is that connect.
Yeah, but you always have your guard up. I mean, like,
everybody has their guards up.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't have my guard up right now.
We think, but we all do.
Really? Like, for example,
100%.
what do you define when you say like I have my guard up? When you say that?
See, obviously, if I get a little too personal and ask you about your personal life, you wouldn't be comfortable sharing a lot of things right now.
No, but I might be off camera. I might tell you stuff. Like
even off camera, there are a few touchy topics maybe that you wouldn't want to say.
Yeah,
I know. There are emotions you wouldn't want to feel.
But the thing is, I genuinely, okay, this is getting into an interesting zone. But let us say let's say you're a close friend or a partner or somebody else. I do think that there are different levels of vulnerability that you have with different people.
Yeah.
I will talk about this to this person. I will talk about this to this person. I will talk about this to this person.
Yeah.
Or if nothing else, I'll talk to my therapist. So it's like, I think you have that. I don't think it's possible to function if you do not have that vulnerability with somebody, but that's me. But yeah, I guess different.
Again, vulnerability, yes, you're most closest when you're in love with someone, and then you're there.
And I think that love can be different types of love. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic love. For example, a lot of people, if they have issues with their partner, I know that they discuss that with a friend, simply because it's not because they don't love their partner, but because it's easier to talk to somebody who's going to give them a little more objective, like a point of view or something like that. So yeah.
But still, it's not humanly possible to put all your guards down, no matter who the other person is. Like guards down in the sense, you are very free. You are extremely free. I'm like very free with my childhood. My best friend, who's like been my best friend since my second grade. I can speak to him about anything. I can abuse anyone who's very personal to me in front of him. But still, there is a level of, there is a wall there.
Yeah.
Somewhere there is a wall, you know it.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but the theatre, you're out. Like, it's a community experience and everyone is having, like, I'm sitting next to strangers and have my guards down. I'm feeling what he's feeling. We're all feeling a certain way. So, I think the cinema theatre is the only place where your guards are down completely.
So, have you gotten your guard down and really cried for movies?
For movies?
In a theatre?
In a theatre, yeah. I think it was for, which one was that? Three Idiots was one film where I'm not great at Hindi. I wouldn't understand it as much, but yeah, it's been my second language, so you know how it is. That was one film where I was abusing the director while watching it, where Rajkumar Hirani is one of my favorite directors. Like, he's making me cry, he's making me laugh, he's making me cry again. I was like, after a point, I got tired. I was like, dude, how dare you do this to me? How do you have my emotions in control? Like, how could, like, I'm not in control of my emotions and you're a magician, you know what I mean? Like, how can you do that? How can you actually play around with my emotions like that? So, I think that was one film that really kind of made me realize what a film can do to you. Like a director just taking care of your emotions.
Yeah, and that's really a kind of magic that happens in theaters. You know, it's like, I don't think a similar thing can happen when you're watching it on OTT or on...
It happens, you know, like I remember my brother and I, we went to watch a film and we got so excited about and all of that. And then back then, so 6 months later, it was coming on television. And both of us were watching that film like, we got excited for this, okay. We're just looking at each other's faces like, okay, yeah, we feel it, but not as much, you know what I mean? So this entire OTT space is like, it's a very interesting analogy initially when I came, I was like, if you're aware of graphics and stuff, a cinema theater is like virtual reality, where you're getting into that world. There's like augmented reality where you're getting stuff into your world.
Yeah.
You know, there's a pressure cooker sound, you stop it and like, oh, okay, you're disconnected.
Yeah.
So there's never going to be that kind of a connect. You know, so I think virtual reality is a completely different. You getting into that space.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So these are the reasons you said yes to Andhra King Taluka, and you're explaining them very well. And but what made you say, I want, or what made the team say, we want Upendra as the Andhra King? Because the thing is, not because an actor, he's a good, like great star, great actor, all that is not in doubt, but I would have thought because it's Andhra King, you might have chosen somebody from this industry. Yeah.
We did not want any Telugu superstar because we wanted the Telugu audience to connect with a superstar, their own superstar, whoever you feel is your superstar.
Okay.
So we wanted a superstar who plays a character of every superstar in Telugu. Or you could imagine an Amitabh Bachchan, you could imagine whoever. You could imagine your own Upendra there. And him also because there are two reasons. The first one is he's the only actor down south after Mr. Rajinikanth where his films are very philosophical, if you see. You know, might be a little eccentric, but the eccentricity is for the masses, the penetration into the masses.
Single word titles.
Yeah. And, that is like, for the masses, you need some eccentricity to, you know, penetrate into all of that. But what he's saying is extremely philosophical. And that was one thing. And reason number two was the first time Mahesh and we wanted to get a poster, like a cutout of a superstar and then a small kid standing. AI just picked him up. So the AI poster, it was Mr. Upendra. So it just happened to be like that.
See, that's destiny for you.
Yeah.
Are you a believer in destiny? We make our own destiny?
Not really. We make our own destiny. I'm like, whatever happens, happens for the best if you make the best out of whatever happens. So I'm in that kind of...
Actually, I like that. Yeah, I've heard the first half, which is whatever happens, happens for the best. I'm not a big fan of that sentiment because it's like, what do you mean? It's like, but the second part makes sense.
If you make the best out of whatever.
Wait, did you read that somewhere? Or?
I felt it, so I keep writing these things whenever I feel like, okay, this makes sense to me, I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, that's actually very, very good.
I used to post them on Twitter called Random Thoughts initially.
Okay.
Now I'm not posting.
I wish I could say I follow you, but I'm not on social media much.
Okay.
So it's like, it just, like, you know.
I'm not on social media much either, so yeah.
You know, with Ismat Shankar, you said that you gave up using perfumes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you've seen a lot. Okay.
And then you said that, you know, after makeup, you just do a lot of smoking in order to get into the character. what did you do for this?
For this film, catching Sagar's character was very important for me. Like, it is a biopic of a fan. Like, if he laughs, you want to laugh. If he cries, we want the audience to cry. We just want to follow his emotions. So I wanted him to be lovable. I wanted him to be extremely honest. Like, I have a certain image, commercial image, which we wanted to break in this film. At the same time, not break off completely where it's like, oh my god, it's just like a 12th fail, honest film. No, that wouldn't work. We want it to be like a very Rajkumar Hirani kind of a meter where there's like content and you're saying it in a commercial way where it reaches to a lot of people. But extreme honesty. We're not going to write a single dialogue which doesn't make sense to the entirety of the film or what we want to say. So it's a very honest film, very honest character, and that was my primary goal, like just catching Sagar's character and what we want to say.
Like, but how? I mean, what was your? I'm asking you what your process was.
Luckily, one of the process that helped me was also writing that song, because I wanted the songs to be ready before we went on sets. So that was one thing I was very particular about, and that's why I got Vivek Mervyn, and we were sitting there, we were getting all.
This is the song that Anirudh sang, right?
Yeah, Anirudh sang. Yeah. So this is a song where the hero is questioned about his love by his friend, because he's a college going guy and he looks at this girl and he's in love, but the friend's like, it's like lust, you know, what are you saying? Like, no dude, this is love. And he's like, yeah, you'll feel like that only, it's love. I'm like, no dude, this is what it is. So his love is being questioned. He's like, no, I know what you're talking about, but this is not that. So he's going through a lot of emotions and he's wanting to say what love is, but love does not have a definition. Like, how do you define love? So that entire process of him where he's struggling to say what he wants to say and then finally coming to a conclusion where, you know, it's just magical. You need to experience it. It cannot be defined. You know, so that was like a journey.
Yeah.
The entire song starts off with a question and ends with a conclusion. And so that song also helped me catch this character, and multiple discussions about the script. And I think in March 2024, I okayed this film. And I think in November we started. So the entire stretch was only about what does he say, the script, the lesson.
But you didn't do anything physical, like?
No, this film did not require me to do anything physical. I just needed to look young, and yeah.
But you know, fandom is also, just like you said, it's like a kind of love.
Yeah.
You know, you have to experience it. I don't think you can.
It's a very personal
describe
connect.
it.
Yeah, you can't. It's a very personal connect. Like, you would never understand why that fellow adores him so much.
Yeah.
So it's very personal.
Yeah, because you mentioned Rajinikanth, and when he was not well and when he was in Singapore undergoing treatment, I know people that there were regular news reports of people posting things about how they were like literally not able to function. Because you know that they were so worried about what was happening to him, and you know there's a documentary about certain things about these, and there's a documentary about Salman Khan, and there's a guy who says something very strange, which is actually like strange sounds judgmental, but that's again fandom. He says like you know, until Bhai marries, I'm going to stay a virgin. Never mind all the connotations behind that, but you know, but that's like you know, that I was just like, wow, that's a very, very you know, that's something else, you know. So
it could be like the smallest of thing also. Like, for example, it's a very small thing, but it's quite interesting. Like when I'm in this zone or I'm thinking about this film, you also think about your real life experiences. There was this picture of Jim Carrey he posted on social media where, with his white beard and all of that, he was looking old. He was getting old by then. So the minute I saw it, I had to like swipe it off. Like, I didn't want to accept the fact that he was getting old. It could be the smallest of things, but why did I react so much? Like, why didn't I just want to see that picture? You know, some kind of an impact, something.
No, yeah, because there is okay, that'll be revealing somebody else's thing. But even when I view the stars that I was a fan of when I was young,
God's up.
No, because that's somebody else's experience.
But still,
the God's up. Okay, right. So they were mentioning that when I see that, I do the same thing. With sometimes I was just like, oh my God, if this person is looking old now, then I'm also older than what I was back then, right? Obviously, I have a certain age, but in your, you don't kind of think yourself as that age, but when your stars or the people that you worship, the people that you're a huge fan of, when they get older and you see pictures or whatever of them, it's like, like
that
wow,
can't happen.
By the way, I'm a huge fan of Jim Carrey. I
really?
think he's one of the greatest. Man on the Moon is one of my all-time favorite films. I mean, I know that I'm not talking about what he did to get into that character, like the method stuff, because that's all his. But just the way he's acted in his non-comedic films is a huge. I just love that stuff, and I love his brand of comedy, the physical comedy. I think it's the most difficult thing to do, and I don't think many people can do it actually as well as he does, because you know, even now when I see those Ace Ventura movies or whatever it is, it's just kind of, you know, it's
crazy.
It's crazy. It's just completely crazy. The first one is just like one all-time favorite classic. It's just kind of this one. So from Devadasu, or let's begin with this. You said you didn't have a plan B, and it was always acting for you.
Yes.
Now, my practical middle class brain always thinks of this question, which is like, what if it doesn't work out, right? Whenever you start something, there's always one angle coming there. It's easy, like, I don't have a plan B it's a kind of a romantic notion. It's nice to have it, and some people also do it so that they don't get diverted into that plan B. But have you ever thought of, what if this acting gig did not work out?
So I was 8 when I made that statement. So it was ignorance, but also I was a very adamant kid. And every time people ask me the same question, you know, at different age groups, I would ask myself if I would still have said the same thing. And I always told myself I would. Because if people ask me, what, if not an actor, what? I would have been like, I would have been the guy who's trying to be an actor. You know, so it's always been this for me. I would have done some gigs, I came from theatre, and then I did short films, and then I came here. So I would have probably been there, but I've slowly tried to step forward in, it might take a while, but yeah, it would always be in this direction. And plan B, what I realize now is, what has been happening is people are so scared about plan A, because plan A is risky, plan B is safe. They invest too much time in plan B to the point where now plan A does not make sense. So the reason why people give up their plan A is because too much of investment, time, energy, money, and security. It's gone into plan B. Now plan B makes more sense. Letting this go off for that, now it gets very complex. So I think plan B is good. And I've always told my friends, because I was in school and I did this, I was like, dude, machan exception matanda example leda, you know? So don't look at me and come. But yeah, plan B is always good, but not at the cost of plan A.
Yeah, because I sometimes feel that when people ask me about my career or other people's career or whatever it is, I always feel that we only look at the people that have succeeded or have become known at what they're doing. We don't see the number of casualties that have happened, and that's a scary thing. So
again, perspective, like, we think they're a casualty, but according to me, success is doing what you love the most for most of your life. We might think this guy is not a successful actor, but he's been doing whatever he wants to do for all his life. Because by the end of the day, what I've realized also is, our lives, our decisions are based on questions that we hear from the society or people we love or this and that and all of that. But that last moment, the only questions that really matter are the ones that are coming from you. So what is that question that would come from me in my last moment? Would be this: have you done what you really loved for most of your life? So for me, this is what it is. So perspective, you think he's not successful, but he is. You think a person is really successful, but he probably hates being there. So you can't generalize anything as well.
You can't generalize, but I do think that for many people, there are certain things that it's not necessarily society mandated, but I think, for example, money. Now you can ask how much money is important to you, that's a different thing, but some level of money is important.
See, again, sir, perspective, like, it's all very personal. Like, for me, money is never enough for anyone. So I remember sitting down and thinking, where does this stop?
Right.
For me, where does this stop? For people, it could be different. For me, I was like, I want to earn enough money not to buy everything in this world, but to the point where nobody can buy me. You know, I get to do what I want. So for me, the minute I make that much money where nobody can buy me, I'm happy. I don't want to buy everything in the world. So that is going to be my limit. So I'm going to earn as much as that. So you have your perspective in a certain way, you fix to it and you lead your life because people are here to confuse you. Money is never enough. Sometimes you want that, you want this, but this is the base.
Can you define nobody can buy me in terms of the decisions you make?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom, time. Like me as a person, it's always been like, oh my God, you know what? If you start that business, you can earn really a lot of money. But for me, I always look at my time and freedom. Like right now, I can just, after my film, I can just leave. I can go. I can spend a year abroad and all of that. Of course, people will be abusing me and my fans will be like, why the hell are you doing films? But for my survival, I don't need that. For me, I do want a private jet and not have time to do anything what I want. So buying me is like my freedom. So the choice to do something and not to do something and live my life on my own terms, that is not buying.
Is there an inner voice that sometimes says, well, a private jet would be nice?
No, I'm not that kind of a guy.
You're not that at all. You don't want a Rolls, a Ferrari, all that in your garage.
I probably would buy them if I wanted to, but that's never been my... I had a very interesting experience. Like, again, it's very personal to me, but the first time I got a Porsche, it was with my money and all of that. My brother and I, we went to take the delivery. Both of us, it was fully loaded, one of the most loaded versions in India and all of that. Both of us sitting and then both of us were looking at each other. I was like 20, 21. Like, dude, you remember we had a poster of a Porsche in my room and we actually bought a Porsche, man. That was a discussion. And then initially there were very few Porsches here. So we had like people chasing in the bikes and taking videos and all of that. And there was this experience where I was heading to an event and a bunch of guys, college guys, following, taking videos and all. And I got off the car. Back then we had tints also, they couldn't see. I got off the car and I could see the reactions where for a second they were so excited about the car and then they saw me and they got even more excited. They left the car and they came. I was like, dude, this is feeling good. I want to get off an Innova, I want to get off an auto and still feel this worth. I don't want to wear branded clothes where, even though I can buy all of that, I don't want that to define who I am. I want to wear like a 10 rupee shirt probably, even though you don't get it. Okay, probably a $10 shirt maybe. Yeah. And still feel worth. Yeah. So these are experiences that I've experienced at a very young age. So I've set my rules, I've set my basis, like no matter what, I don't get jealous. I won't be like, oh my God, I wish I had that. I'm like, okay, it's good he had that. This is me. Yeah. I'm very sorted that way.
Given the fact that your last really big hit was Isma Shankar, does that place pressure on each subsequent release? How do you handle that? Because you sound so sorted and you're like I could just go and meditate right now.
No.
And do you even feel some kind of pressure before?
So definitely there's chaos in everyone, but it's just that once you have these things, it's not, see, the most difficult things are the simplest things to follow. So even though whatever I'm saying sounds very simple, it's very difficult to follow it.
No, but the fact that you've actually thought through these things is impressive, because many people, their mind is chaos simply because they haven't thought through or figured out these things. So
it's very important to think, because you have your chaos. I mean, I have my chaotic moments. I don't know what, I get lost and I come back to this. So it's an effort to come back to this as long as you know where to go in the end. So I think these help me come back. I do go through chaos. I do go through pressure and all of that, but I come back to this.
The day before the release of Andhra King Taluka, what are you going to be like?
I don't know. This film has a very personal connect for me. Like my process has always been watch the film, give 2-3 interviews, go off abroad, chill, come back after the release. That's been my process. Like very disconnected and stuff. I think this film is the first time I thought that this story needs to be told. There's so much honesty. There's a beautiful emotion that hasn't been explored. Like imagine exploring a relation that has never been explored in Indian cinema. Like even though you had films with fans, nobody has explored this relation. It's either been star versus fan or maybe a friendship theme there and stuff like that. But what is that connect is something that films are based on emotions. It could be a mother-son or a father-daughter, whatever it is. Like this relation has never been explored. So I think it's something that is very personal to me. It was a question that I've been asking myself. And this film kind of answered. And I think that every star, every fan, and every person who's looking at a fan and thinking it doesn't make sense should watch this film. And they'll kind of feel good about it. Yeah. And keeping everything aside, the reason why we make films is for a single purpose. And I think that is what this film will give you after the end.
Right. And I'm also very intrigued by the fact that Mahesh Babu's second film. This is because I thought he had a very fresh voice in
MSMP, yeah.
yeah, the first one that he did with Naveen and Anushka.
yeah.
That was it was very interesting. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, yeah, boy meets girl, all that is there, but he had his own spin on that. So I'm I'm like, this is a voice that I think I want to see what he's making. What was your experience of working with him?
So I had a discussion with Mahesh also recently. Like he's like a new kid who's trying to explore and figure out and stuff. But so it was a very casual discussion where every director has a story to tell. Every director has his own identity which projects in the film. What I felt Mahesh was he picks up points which are not easy, which are very delicate. You know, where even at MSMP, the society would question the protagonist. Like, what are you saying? You want to have a child, but you don't want to get married. You don't want a husband. What are you saying? Very touchy topics. Even this, fans, are you trying to say fanism is good? What are you saying? You know, very touchy topics which are presented very beautifully. He brings out the emotions in them.
Yeah.
So I think I was just telling Mahesh, that is your forte. Never let that go, because that is your identity.
Right.
You know, pick up these topics and then make them in the way you want. But that is your identity.
No, Ram, you know, talking to you, one gets the idea that you think a lot. You really process things a lot. That you think deeply, you analyze scripts deeply, you talk a lot to the directors and all that. So when something does not work, I know there is no correlation to what I'm asking, but you know where I'm going, right? Because it's not like you're just casually listening to 5 minutes of a script and then saying, oh, let's go do this movie. There's a lot of thought that goes into a movie. As well. You've done that as well? Which movie? Which movie? Can you say?
See, there's this thing in Telugu cinema where I was just thinking about it and laughing. Because Andhra King Taluka, ever since I heard this script, even before I heard the script, I was in a very different zone. I was like, something needs to change. Like, I'm not feeling good about it, you know? So I was in my own journey. And that's when this script came. Otherwise, I would have never accepted something like this.
Right.
So I was in my own, I was enjoying writing and, you know, random stuff. And this film kind of changed the way I was looking at cinema and stuff. And then I went back and I was telling Mahesh, you know, Mahesh, there were times when directors came and told me that even before the audience understand what's happening, we move on to the next scene. You know, I've done films like that. For Kandarika, that was the basic thing we all used to speak, you know. I was like, those films worked, you know, but why are we making films where even before they can understand we should go? We should like probably stop, make sure they understand and go, no? You know, they're two different. That also works. You know, that's like completely screenplay based movies. But I think I fell in love with cinema all over again in that phase, and then this also happened. So I think the timing was right.
Right. Now, you were 16 when you started your first film.
15, yeah.
15. Now, looking back, do you feel that maybe you'd waited a bit? Because I'm sure many people have asked you this question, but because what life experience, because you're embodying another person, you're trying to get into some character's head or whatever. At 15, you haven't even figured yourself out.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes, you know, wonder maybe I should have waited a bit? Or I mean, of course, the film was, you know, all that happened, but
I was actually thinking it was getting late. But yeah, so I think my mom asked me that question. She's like, you know, you have to like study safety degree. You know, if you don't have a basic degree, the society won't respect you. Like, I don't want that respect. So I'm not doing it for respect. But I remember telling her that, you know, it's time to go to college. And if I wanted to become a doctor, you would have probably gone to a medical college or a law college if you want to become a lawyer. I want to get into cinemas. I want to start films. I want to get into the film industry first. I want to learn cinema. So eventually that's what I'm going to do. So she's like, you're so smart. My dad was like, you're so good at business. You should do MBA and all of that. I'm like, even if I get a gold medal, it's just going to be at home and I'll come back to this. I don't want to waste my time and all of that. I want to get into cinema as soon as possible. So anything I got, any gig I got in Chennai, I used to open Young World. You remember Young World? Back then, yeah. I used to find different stuff, go there. I used to do book readings at the Oxford University Press in Chennai beside the American Consulate. And I used to do a lot of skits. I used to direct skits. You know, just wanted to be in this world as long as possible. And come in as quickly as possible.
Which you have done. So all the best for Andhra King Taluka.
So
and before I leave you, it's time to update our IMDb watch lists.
Okay.
So I want you to name 5 films that you consider 10 on 10 films. That is 5 films that are so good that you'd give them 10 on 10. These could be any language, These are just 5 films that you'd recommend for IMDb users.
Okay, I've never thought about this, but Cinema Paradiso would be one.
Okay.
And
Why?
I don't know, I watched it recently again, and I don't know, I just fell in love with it, you know, and somewhere you could, after watching the film, you'd probably, I don't know if you could, but I could somewhere connect with the film as well.
With this film?
Yeah, I watched it after I heard the script again. I don't know why. I might be completely wrong, but I don't know why, but I wanted to go and revisit that film. And then I fell in love with it all over again. And then there would be The Sixth Sense was one film, which, not because of the climax twist, but every time I watch that film, it gives me a completely new experience. It's like the director respected me. He didn't cheat me. He didn't trick me. He showed it all along. So I was like, dude, it's a new experience every time you watch it. So for that reason, The Sixth Sense. 3 Idiots is one film that I really love. And commercial me would say Terminator 2.
Okay. 3 Idiots for?
3 Idiots for the kind of emotional journey that I went through as an audience while watching it. So, like I said, like, dude, you're making me laugh, you're making me cry, you're making me do all of this. And by the end of the day, you walk out of the film feeling inspired, feeling good about something. You know, so you start thinking about your life and the way we use all is well. You know, these things impact your life somewhere, you know. So, 3 Idiots and
Terminator 2, you said.
Terminator 2. One more film.
That's because of?
That's like the commercial me. I'm like, dude, that's one film I can keep watching over and over again.
Is it because of the visual effects or?
I don't know, it was just the coolest film I watched when I was a kid. And I can keep watching it over and over again. And the 5th would be any Jim Carrey film.
Okay, pick one.
Liar, Liar. I just love him so, any film of his.
With Jim Carrey, if you chose Liar, Liar, what is it that makes it so special for you?
It's just him. The mask. It's just him. I just want to, like, I had a discussion with a very big director initially when I came. He asked me, who's your favorite actor? I said, Jim Carrey. He was like, you should watch Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, these kind of films. Why Jim Carrey? I remember telling him, I was a kid, I was like 14. Right? And I was like, I don't know. So like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, I would want to watch their films from the beginning. But Jim Carrey, I can just watch a scene, laugh, enjoy, and go off. I would still connect with him immediately. It was the reason why I said. But I'm sure I have a multiple set of reasons why I like it. But yeah, any film, as long as he's there. It's good.
Well, thank you so much for that, and all the best for Andhra King Taluka.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much.
Sir. Thank you so much.
No compromise. Unga side liyo, enga side liyo. It's a GT promise.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
டார்லிங் சோலார் 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம்.
மலிவான நாட்டு சர்க்கரையில தான் மண் தூசி இருக்கும். இது குலாஸ் நாட்டு சர்க்கரை 100% சுத்தமானது.